Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to be talking about all the heroes in Star Wars Battlefront, what they can do, what they're good for, what maps you might want to use them on, what situations you might want to use them for. Let's start off with Boba Fett, the coolest by far. Boba is not only the most maneuverable hero on the battlefield, but in my opinion, he's one of the best for dealing with rebels. Basically, your average infantry unit, he can destroy them from across the map. His best ability is his lock-on rocket launcher, and it's actually not a lock-on. It auto locks on after you fire, so you don't even have to go through a lock-on process. You shoot it in the direction of an infantry, it'll fly towards them and one-shot them, and you can do this from across the map. There doesn't seem to be any sort of lock-on range or missile travel range to it, which really allows you to keep Boba alive for a long time. If you're playing him on a big wide open map, you can just long range people with your lock-on missile all day and just stay behind cover in the background, making sure that the rebels can't take your health down. His biggest threat really becomes snipers and then other heroes themselves. Han is a good counter to Boba for sure. His base weapon is the iconic EE3 blaster rifle. It shoots burst fire. I think it's better than the standard blaster that you can get as infantry. I can't confirm this. It just feels like it shoots faster than the other ones. Like the projectiles seem like they move faster, so maybe it's easier to hit infantry across the map. And if people get too close to you, you can activate his flamethrower, which will just decimate infantry in close quarters. It's not very good for dealing with heroes though, because its range is very limited and most heroes have a lot of mobility. Then if you just right click or hold down the jump button, you can activate his jetpack, and you can see he's got a little white bar with how much jet thrust he has. It recharges very quickly after you land, so he can get around the map easily. He can get to hard to reach places that other classes can't even get to sometimes, and then just blast people from afar. Again, his main weaknesses are sniper rifles or weapons that are good from range. Now in this gameplay here, I'm actually facing off against X Factor. We're trying out the heroes. This is basically hero battles, and you can play this game mode where it's either just hero versus hero, or you can have heroes and then AI. So I have my own army of stormtroopers, and then he has his own army of rebels, and they kind of move around the map, and basically you want to kill them and then collect their tags. We weren't really playing for the tags as much as we were just trying to kill each other, but it was a good way to test out the heroes and figure out how good they were against taking out other heroes. They're all pretty darn good at taking out infantry. Now let's take a look at Han Solo. Despite what you saw in the trailer, you probably don't want to go head-to-head with Darth Vader in close quarters with this class. Han is great at range. His charge-up shot does massive damage. It does great splash damage too, so if you don't think you're going to hit somebody, just aim for their feet and it will still do huge amounts of damage to him. He has another power-up that allows him to shoot his DL-44 in rapid fire mode. Now if you're not familiar with the DL-44 pistol, it does massive damage. It can actually one-shot headshot in close quarters. It's basically like a 44 Magnum, but you have more shots to it. And when you turn that into rapid fire mode, the damage output on it is absolutely insane. Like, you can just decimate infantry. And then his charge ability does massive damage if you shoulder charge somebody. You can use it to run past heroes to get out of an area quickly if you found yourself surrounded, and anybody that you run into will die, unless of course it's a hero. It will damage other heroes, but not extensively. Vader is probably the best counter to Han just because he can block most of Han's abilities with his lightsaber, so you just have to watch out when you run into those kind of heroes. Still, Han can deal massive damage with that rapid fire DL-44, so everybody needs to watch out for that. Now let's talk about Leia a bit. She's pretty much a support class through and through. It's not to say she can't deal good damage, and when she charges up her E11 blaster, she can basically stun people with high-powered shots, which is a good way to stun other heroes. I wouldn't recommend her as like the ultimate anti-hero class, but she can certainly hold her own, especially if you're landing those stun shots. Now, if you're playing in the hero battle game mode or heroes versus villains, her ability changes a little bit. She has the ability to drop down a health pack when she's fighting against the other heroes in the hero battles. But if you're playing in, say, Walker Assault or Supremacy, that ability changes over to one that allows her to put down a battle pickup for friendly rebels. And this is a randomized battle pickup. I don't think it can be a hero battle pickup, but she can basically give good weapons to anybody who's playing around her. Now, when you're playing on a normalized game mode, modes, say like Walker Assault or Supremacy, when Leia spawns in, you can also spawn into bodyguards that are played by other players, and that will just come up as a spawn option in the spawn screen. And these bodyguards have extra health, and they have really, really good weapons, and so they can move around, they can guard Leia, they can go off on their own if they want to, but they are excellent classes, and they can deal with some armored targets pretty well. Beyond that, Leia has her super shield, and she can shoot her charged up blaster from within the super shield. So very much a team-oriented class through and through. Now let's talk about the Emperor. Like Leia, he can spawn in 2 really good bodyguards when you're playing on Walker Assault or Supremacy. This is definitely something that should not be overlooked. He can also heal up those bodyguards if they stick near him while he's doing damage, I believe. I have to research that a little bit more. Leia may have a similar ability, but I can't confirm that. His Q ability, or his main charge-up shot, is like a massive stunning lightning strike, and it will also chain between multiple enemies, so you can take out groups of enemies if they're standing together. His basic attack, just by left-clicking, shoots out lightning. It's pretty short range, but it'll auto-lock to any rebel, and it kills them very, very fast. He then has a dart ability that allows him to do his little corkscrew dive through the air. It's very fast and somewhat frightening when you're playing against him, because it makes a freaky sound too. Now, like Leia, he can heal himself in hero battles, and he can also drop down that health for other heroes to pick up if you're playing in like heroes versus villains, and Leia can do the same thing. But if you're playing on Walker Assault or Supremacy, then that, I believe, becomes a power-up that rebel troops can pick up. Now let's talk about Luke and Vader. I already covered them pretty extensively during the beta. The one update that has changed since beta is that now when they block incoming laser fire with their lightsabers, they have a cooldown period for it. So basically, you can only block incoming blaster fire for a limited period of time. It cannot be indefinite now. So it does give rebels or Imperials some sort of chance to try and fight against them. A little bit better. You're still probably going to die, but it's just a nice little way to balance out that ability. Vader has the Force Choke, the lightsaber throw, and then a power attack, which is mostly only good for dueling with Luke if you want to clash lightsabers. Luke has his sprint ability, he has his Force Push, which is an AoE damage, and then of course he has his power attack. Again, if both Luke and Vader power attack at the same time, they will go into lightsaber clash mode. Probably the biggest change since the beta is that you don't have a time limit with these heroes anymore, which used to tick down your health and your time at the same time. So by the end of your hero's life, you had very little health and very little time. It was kind of annoying, so now you can kind of play a little bit more methodically with the heroes. It's not to say that you're going to last forever, but you can go on some crazy kill streaks, especially with some of the long-range classes like Boba or Han. Anyway, that's how the heroes work, and when you pick up a hero token, if you're playing on Supremacy or Walker Assault, you have the option to pick between any of the 3 heroes available to the Rebels or the Empire. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more Battlefront coverage, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.